Hi, and welcome to something a wee bit different. I saw this go past the evening before I'm trying this out on, I think it was the all new VR Games on Steam Twitter account that I follow. And it's something called Fractal Fly. It's technically free to play in so much as you get one experience, as it were, for free. There are then these other three that you can buy as DLCs. I think the whole thing combined costs, I don't know, like £4, something like that, £3.50, £4, or whatever. So I'm going to have a look at this and see what I think, and I may end up buying the other ones. These ones, my understanding is, I literally run it up and set it recording. By the way, one of the things I will absolutely commend the dev for is there's a music volume option in here. I've left the music, so it's kind of stepped. It's not a slidey thing. You step down, so I put it on the lowest setting other than 0. Yeah, that's completely off. So, because the music actually feels quite chill, and I'm quite liking that, so I thought I'd leave that where it is. And also the volume setting works in the menu, which seems like a fairly rare thing I'm finding with some stuff. So anyway, as I was saying, I set it up recording without trying anything yet. This this one here is fully interactive, as I understand it. The other ones, you have the previews, but you just sit and you're taken through it. You can't interact with it in any way. So, as the name would suggest, Fractal Fly, they're supposedly fractal landscapes. Whether they actually are or not remains to be seen. So, my understanding is I can, move through them. And, you got nice smooth rotate as well. And it also navigates the direction your head's pointing in, which for a lot of things I wouldn't really enjoy, but actually this makes sense. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Well, let's go over there. Can I collide? No. Okay, I just pass straight inside. Okay, fair enough. Thought I'd try that, see what happens. There's a strange sensation with this, I would say, in that, I don't know, maybe I'm a little too used to VR, or maybe even a bit jaded. Nah, not that, but maybe I'm just too comfortable with VR now. But this doesn't look, I mean, it's obviously in 3 dimensions. I can see parallax and things like that as I move around, but it doesn't quite, I don't know, it's interesting. It doesn't quite seem to be well, it works. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It doesn't feel quite right. So my understanding as well is if I hold the 2 grip buttons, I can expand it. Come back out, so that should make things bigger, and also I can contract, so I'm pulling my hands together. Okay, that's as far as it goes. So there's definitely an unfortunate thing going on here in that I want to be fair to it. I don't want to give the impression that I'm ungrateful for even the chance to experience this. But like there, as I was expanding it, having played with so many other fractal generators and things like that, and actually written a couple of Mandelbrot set generators and that myself, one rather ridiculous one in VR as well. It was actually web VR. I may, if I remember, give a little pointer to that in the description for this video. It's nothing like this, it's really blocky, quite deliberately so. It was an exploration in doing simple blocky Mandelbrot set creation thing in VR and that. But anyway, yes, what I was saying was, because I've toyed with some of the other fractal generators and things like that, I'm kind of used to the idea that, you know, if I expand, I'm going to be zooming in. So I'd kind of want to, if I, you know, like, I'd want to expand it so that bit there, for example, stays relative to me in about the same place, but everything grows and more detail appears on things. But that doesn't seem to be happening. And also the way stuff moves around, it's obviously not doing what I would expect. Right, that clunk sound, I understand to be the limit. So what it seems to do is actually not let me zoom in, it just kind of morphs or changes things. Right, so if I hold the left trigger, I can move faster, which is kind of cool. I like that. I think the thing I'm liking about this is so it lacks that thing that you like, or rather people generally like and want from fractals, which is the ability to zoom in and zoom out and find repeating detail and things like that. This does not seem to be that. This seems to be a sort of presumably fractally generated landscape, definitely a procedurally generated landscape, as it were, that you can explore, and it obviously changes and differs and things like that. Okay, so if I hold the right trigger, that seems to put the brake on. So yeah, I do have the option to kind of keep going and going and going. So I'm guessing there's no limit to this, is the thing here. Although I did sort of run into one wall already, didn't I? There is this weird effect though, that it's very obvious that I'm moving through a representation of three-dimensional objects, but it doesn't feel very three-dimensional. It's hard to describe, and of course that's not going to come across in a flat screen video in any way, shape or form. But I gotta say, it's going to sound like I'm damning with faint praise, and I'm not. I've paid for worse VR experiences, which makes me inclined to actually buy the 3 other landscapes to just like wander through. You know, I've literally bought experiences which are just walk through a VR landscape. Play here. Whoa. I do like this when you end up inside things. So I'm not moving, I'm completely still, and I'm just kind of changing the parameter. So that's as far as it goes. There we go. So yeah, you know, I've definitely bought experiences where you're literally just walking through a landscape, and you know, like I bought that submarine simulator, which was, you know, literally you sit in a simulated submarine which you had control over and just went around under the sea and saw, you know, a couple of dozen mesh animals, and that was about it. But it was kind of fun. I think definitely part of the thing with VR is sometimes you do just want to stick a headset on and be somewhere that you literally could never be, somewhere strange and weird and things like that. I know the same is true if I'm playing PCVR or, you know, Into the Radius or Boneworks or something like that. But they're all sort of fairly goal-oriented games, be it, you know, a sandbox builder or various forms of shooters or, you know, that kind of thing. Whereas this is one of those experiences which is just, travel through something really, really different. And I'm kind of liking it, actually. There's definitely an element of I want to go just a little bit further. Just go through another little hole and see what's through there. Like, what's under here? This definitely makes me want to, because I have looked for proper full-on VR Fractal Explorer, you know, something that would let you do Mandelbrot sets and Julia sets and all that kind of stuff and everything. And either I'm looking in the wrong place or no one's done anything. I don't know, maybe it's a difficult thing to do, although, you know, as I say, I managed to do a fairly deliberately blocky. I mean, it literally is about toying with placing blocks on a VR web page and things like that. Mandelbrot set generator. As I say, if I remember, I will actually link to it in the description of this video, just so you can see how it's nothing like this. It's nothing as clever and as accomplished as this. But I'm kind of like, is it difficult, if not impossible, for someone to actually do something that is your kind of classic, traditional... oh, I seem to have hit the edge. Is there an edge? You know, your classic, traditional fractal explorer. You know, like, is that not possible? I feel it should be. Now this is making me wonder, have I... Oh no, I hadn't hit an edge, I just hit a bigger circular void, as it were. That's kind of cool. I'm also curious as to how this is coded and how much effort it requires from the machine and everything. Just because my machine sounds very chill, you know, I can't hear fans going crazy. This seems smooth as. I'm running this on a 3060, which, you know, isn't shabby, but isn't the absolute greatest either. But I'm getting no stutter, no problems, no sounds from the fan or anything like that. And actually, this is one of those few things where I really want to leave the music on, and I'm actually really liking the music. And I'm so glad that I could put it down to minimal volume. As I sit here, the one thing I am noticing, which is unfortunate, which makes me think that from a certain distance it is maybe just rendering things very 2D, if that even makes sense, is as I move around, you're not going to see this in the video because I'm having to record the display on the screen as well. OBS doesn't seem to be able to capture the display from the headset with this game. That happens with some games, I'm not entirely sure why. But what I was saying is I'm getting a slight fisheye effect just around the edge of my vision in the headset as I move around, so things distort. So I think that's what's making it feel like after a certain distance I'm just looking at a 2D projection on a skybox, or a sky sphere, should we say, because it doesn't look two-dimensional. And actually, as I move my head, I'm getting no parallax on anything, which is interesting. As I move, yeah, I'm seeing it then. Don't know, maybe I'm too far away to actually see anything when I just move my head. But definitely as I move my head, there's a kind of distortion around the edge. It feels like I'm looking through a fisheye, well, a wide angle lens anyway. Do I get that if I come up close? So let's come up quite close. You see, quite close, I'm not getting that. Or if I am, it's not to the same degree. Whoop. I really wish I could just kind of zoom in and, you know, have it show more and more stuff. I'm kind of liking it from the inside though. That's sort of weird. Kind of makes me wish that someone would do something that would act as a kind of, I wonder if it would even be possible, yeah, kind of a dimension visualization thing. I just recently finished, I keep forgetting the actual name of the trilogy. I think it's Remembrance of Earth's Past or something. The series that starts with Three Body Problem, then The Dark Forest and Death's End. And I just recently finished Death's End, and no spoilers. I'll do my actual, absolute best to avoid spoilers. But anyone who's even read the first book will know that different dimensional space is a thing that gets mentioned and covered. There's no big reveal there. And having something like this that would allow you to go in, allow you to have a cube in front of you and then pull yourself up into 4 dimensions and pull yourself up into 5 dimensions, something like that. Or have a hypercube in front of you and then see what it would look like. I'm not quite sure how it would work, but something that worked like that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. Okay, I can't go that way. I can go that way though. So yeah, all this seems to be doing is just kind of changing the landscape. It's not... Because if I come down here, all this seems to have done is just stitch these things together. It's like it's just... I don't know, I feel like it isn't regenerating the landscape, it's more just mushing it together or something. How do I feel about this? I feel if I'd produce this, I would be delighted with it. I feel that this is the work of someone who really wanted this experience and has gone out of their way to create it for themselves. And I'm really glad they've decided to share it with other people. I think it's very sweet of them that they've made it freely available to play the one experience. And I think it's entirely fair that they've also asked for a contribution for the other landscapes. I think I'm going to buy them, given that they're relatively cheap. As I say, I think they're like £1, £1.50 each, or something like that. And yeah, you can buy all 3 of them together or something like that. It makes me want to kind of explore them a bit more. I think the unfortunate thing about this is the way I'm having to record it. It doesn't give the full effect. I mean, I'm not sure if I bring my controllers together like that, and then pull them out, pull them out, pull them out, pull them out, pull them out. Okay, that's my peripheral vision, and I strongly suspect that the controllers have disappeared from the field of view already. If I go the other way, that's kind of my vertical peripheral vision. I obviously can't see what you can see at the moment because I'm not staring at the display on the screen in front of me. So I feel it's a real shame that A, this video is not going to give any sense of what this feels like anyway, and B, I feel like it's giving a bit of a, yeah, you're probably watching through a letterbox compared to what I'm seeing here. This is cool. I can think of things that would definitely make it more enjoyable if that kind of slight distortion effect that gives you the impression that from a certain distance you're just looking at a 360 skybox kind of thing. That would, I think, make the whole thing pop just a little bit more. I'm really liking the music, but a bit more variation there would be cool. It would be especially cool if you could load up your own music. The idea of just like sitting in this for ages and just chilling, listening to some of your favourite sort of like ambient tracks or something like that, quite like that idea. I also, yeah, I feel if you could change the parameters of the world that you're looking at in a way that makes you feel like you are zooming in and zooming out of an actual fractal landscape. Because, you know, as I've said more than once now, I just feel like I'm mushing the whole thing together, and it, where, you know, it's kind of moving past me. I feel like as I pull my hands together and pull my hands apart, where my hands are should be the center of the effect. Absolutely should be. And what's happening is as I do that, it's all buggering off over that way for some reason, and that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel correct. And you know, it's very apparent to me that I've now put it in what I imagine is its correct state. You know, you've got a nice circle there, you've got a nice circle there, and then as I do this, it all starts smushing in on itself and everything. So yeah, that doesn't feel like I'm exploring a fractal landscape. That feels like I'm just collapsing bits of the mesh or something like that. I mean, it's a fun effect. It definitely is a fun effect. But it's not quite what I was hoping for. It's not quite what I was expecting. It's not that you know, explore the infinite detail of a fractal experience that I think most people would expect they're going to get. Definitely the most disappointing part is that when I do that, the effect is not centered on me. The effect is off at a very particular point. Okay, am I at the edge here, or is this just another... No, it's just a kind of another null point and then more stuff showing up. This is cool. This is cool. I mean, I have definitely been talking about some negatives, but I don't want to leave the impression that I don't like this. Yeah, quite the opposite. I'm actually quite taken by this. Yeah, it's one of those VR experiences that's, you know, very VR. Okay, so let's go back to the main menu. I could keep going for ages, but I like the way that's done. Let's just have a quick look at a preview. So like this one, as I move my head definitely getting that kind of swimming effect. So this obviously is, so I can turn, I just can't choose the direction I take through this, and I can't resize it. So it's giving me a preview, which is cool. And presumably it's removed the colour? Or is this actually supposed to be silvery? This is cool though. You see, this makes me want to explore this. But again, so like, you know, up there you had those big buildings, and then you got these little things here that look like big buildings. And I want to be able to be close to a building and expand it out and have it stay where I am. You know, have the thing I'm focusing on or trying to focus on stay relatively close to me. That would make more sense to me. So let's have a look. That one's kind of cool. I'm really liking the way that's done. Let's have a look at that one. So this looks like a variation on the first one I went in, just with more colour. I just realised it's slightly different music. Yeah, I think I'm a bit sold on this for the price. So let's have a look at that one as well. I'm going to have to check again. I didn't see how old this is. The fact that I think I saw it on the new VR releases obviously means it got an actual release yesterday, presumably. But that doesn't always mean anything on Steam. You know, people can kind of, you know, release their games more than once, as I understand it, to get themselves in the release queue. And also, as I understand it, if something goes from being early access to not being early access, then that's considered a release as well. So it could be that this has been going for, yeah, it was developed 3 or 4 years ago, and then they've decided to actually hit the release button on it, in which case, you know, maybe not much has ever really happened with it beyond its first version. On the other hand, if it is a relatively new experience, then maybe more things are going to be added, maybe more's going to be done with it, in which case that makes me even more inclined to actually buy the full version. I'm not sure how often I'd end up sitting in this mind, but it's also, yeah, it's kind of chill. Feels like one of those things that's great for showing off VR. I can absolutely imagine sitting someone on a chair in my living room, dropping the headset on them, and then just go, right, okay, just sit there and enjoy the trip. Then probably watch them puke their guts up if it's their first VR experience. Right, well, I'm going to leave that here. Yeah, this has actually been a bit of a surprise. I was expecting this to not be great, but actually it's kind of great. Ben Sound, that name rings a bell. That name definitely rings a bell for some reason. Very cool though. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm definitely liking this. I wonder where it's written in. I like the fact that they've credited everything that they've worked with and used and things like that. That's actually really nice. Definitely good to see. Okay, cool. Anyway, yes, that's it from Fractal Fly. So yeah, you know, if you have a PCVR setup, I definitely say, you know, for the amount of, you know, for the cost of download, which is just time and a wee bit of drive space. I can't even remember how big it was. I'm sure it was, certainly on my net connection, it was like seconds to download. It took pretty much no time whatsoever. for the the cost to actually download and sit in the bubble cave for a wee while, definitely worth a try. Even if you pull it down, experience that for a wee bit and then uninstall it and never try it again. Definitely worth a go, because it's just a nice, chill VR experience. Definitely one of those for sit in the middle of your living room in a chair, or flop on your sofa, something like that. Actually doing this, I'm plugged in, wired, but actually doing this wirelessly with a Quest 2 or something, I could see being really cool. Just flop on your sofa and just sit there and enjoy the view. But anyway, from Fractal Fly, that was hard to say for a moment then. From Fractal Fly? Fly. From Fractal Fly. There we go, that's really hard to say. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.